Mondays always get you down. Funny, but it seems I always wind up here with you. Hey, it's me here with my friend Cyndee. I got my hair caught on hers. Hey, we're here in Washington, D.C. And, you know, fighting the battles for you on housing and all the different kinds of things that impact that. And one of the big issues today is flood insurance. And, you know, my friends, you that are in the desert, you're sitting there laughing going, flood insurance? Yeah, we got issues. Look at Dale Evans Parkway. Look at down on the lower part of the mesa. And our friends up in the mountains of Big Bear that got hit with floods just this year because of all the heavy rains. But Cyndee, you in Florida, down there in the below sea level areas, what's going on there?
Well, Charlotte, we are at ground zero of the homes that were built prior to FEMA setting standards. But what most people don't realize is that all 50 states have flood claims. Last year, 49 claims were filed in 49 states, and the 50th one filed the first quarter of 2019. So really, we are all impacted by flood insurance, whether it's snow in the mountains, whether it's rivers rising in the middle, or whether it's hurricanes and tidal. And then we're even seeing sunny day flooding. So it is an issue that impacts all of us for sure.
It does impact all of us. And, you know, sometimes when it doesn't impact me individually or you individually, you just don't notice it. And so it's happening in every state all around. So what's coming up? I've heard that it's the what they have in place right now is going to be expiring May 31st.
That's
of
right.
Next year?
Right. So the NFIP, the National Flood Insurance Program, does expire May 31st, which is just a couple weeks away.
Right.
We as realtors, as you know, are here in Washington, D.C. to get them to reauthorize it, because if that were to go away, 40,000 buyers and sellers a month could not close because we can't get a loan without that insurance.
You can't.
So it's one more thing we're doing here to make sure that Congress puts it at the top of their list, because it impacts everybody all across. I mean, from your area in California to my area in Florida and everywhere in between. It's a big issue. So again, we're fighting for a 5-year reauthorization. We're probably not going to see that. Maybe they'll get it done in September, but that's where we are right now.
Okay, so that's coming up. And then what's the impact of all of that long term?
So one of the things that's slowing Congress down about reauthorizing for 5 years, and you might have heard, is FEMA is coming out with something called Risk 2.0. And what that means is, you know, if any of you that have dealt with flood insurance or ever looked at it, is we live in a very binary world right now. So it's the rate will go from like X, where it's super low, you know, and if you're in a flood zone, which in our area is called AE or VE, you know, it goes very high. I mean, we might see $400 a year policy to $7,000 a year policy.
Wow.
Yeah, big difference.
Big difference.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you know water, but the bottom line is my water, if it starts coming down the street rising, it doesn't just like, woo, stop at the house like X, AE. Right now we have this black and white world.
Right.
So what FEMA is saying is, to get a truer understanding of the risk, it's more of scales of gray. So instead of going like on a scale of 1 low, 10 high, and one house is a 1 and one house is a 10, you know, you can imagine that in areas where you're seeing that transition, you're going to have gradients of gray, and rates will vary all along that. So it will actually mean different rates for a lot of people. You know, where some people have enjoyed being in an X zone, you may find yourself those rates increasing because you are closer.
Right. You are part of it.
Yeah. The other thing that we've been doing in our area in Florida and other places around the country is encouraging better mapping. So imagine if you were going to take a cross-country trip and you had a map that was like when Christopher Columbus got here, right? And it doesn't have the streets, it doesn't have, imagine even doing it before Google, right? Like it's like we all rely on that. Well, here's the deal. FEMA is using 15-year-old maps and data.
Oh my.
And so they're trying to navigate this risk challenge with really old information. I mean,
old.
how much has the world changed in 15 years?
Woo.
Just think about Google 15 years ago. Think about all the tools and access. So what we're saying is we need better information so that you, the consumer, are better protected, but also not overpaying, right? So that's the other thing.
Yes.
You know, in a lot of areas, we're seeing that people were paying more than they should because the map just sort of glumped everybody together. So I do think this risk 2.0, the best part is you're going to start to know what your risk is and be able to plan for that as a buyer and a seller. And so it is better data. It is coming. It'll get released in April of 2020. And it'll go into effect for all single-family homes in the United States by October 2020.
Fantastic. So here we are. We're in DC, fighting for your property rights, supporting all of those issues for your benefit as well as ours. But just remember that we're all here as volunteers because we care about you, about our industry, and about protecting property rights that you may not even be aware of. So coming live with our market insights for June from Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being here, Cyndee.
Thanks for being with me.